During the work week, meal prep can be particularly challenging. You arrive home and realize you only have limited ingredients to work with. So how do you make something both delicious and satisfying? This is one of my favorite cooking challenges. It's kind of like being on the show Chopped. Well, today I have ground turkey, a box of pasta. Let's fix it. I noticed that I have some tomato paste on hand. That will be my hero ingredient to make the dish complete. My plan is to make a meat sauce out of the ground turkey that will hopefully rival the flavor of an Italian sausage red sauce. I don't like to use ground meat that comes in tubes, but in this case I didn't have a choice. My problem is that they typically have more water in them, and water is the enemy when you're trying to get a sear on your ground meat. So I'll take a paper towel and pat it dry the best I can. Then I'm going to press it flat so it's a little easier to cook in the pan. Ground turkey presents a unique challenge because it contains a lot of water. I like to use a stainless steel pan and a generous amount of avocado oil to quickly evaporate the water. The goal is to boil off the water as soon as possible so we can brown the ground turkey and hopefully have a flavorful Maillard reaction. So there's my avocado oil. Now we're just going to add the ground turkey. And right away I want to get in there with a wooden spoon and start to break it up into smaller pieces. We want more surface area so the oil can get in there and evaporate the water very quickly. Now I'm going to add some pepper and some salt. You can see that water covering the pan. It's amazing how much the ground turkey releases, especially the one that's in the tube. Let's work that around a little bit more, try and break it up into smaller bits. Yeah, the water here has just gone from bad to worse, so I crank up the heat a little bit more to try and get the water out of there as soon as possible. I really want to get searing before the turkey gets all rubbery. A couple minutes later and the water is just about gone, so I'm going to break up the turkey a little bit smaller and then we'll get to the searing. Unfortunately, we don't have the time or the ingredients on hand to make a Goodfellas prison special, but this still should be delicious.
And he had this wonderful system for doing the garlic. He used a razor and he used to slice it so thin that it used to liquefy in the pan with just a little oil.
I have yet to try slicing garlic with a razor blade. A couple more minutes have passed, and if you look at the top of the pan, you can see that some of the turkey is starting to stick. And that's great, that's flavor developing. I wait to add the spices until the water is about gone. If I put in the spices too soon, they will react with the water and start to turn bitter as I continue to saute the meat. We'll start off with some oregano, an Italian seasoning mix, onion powder, some crushed red pepper, garlic powder, and we'll stir all that in for a bit. More and more bits are sticking to the bottom of the pan. That's great because that's more Maillard reaction and more flavor. Adding in a little more avocado oil here. I feel like it's starting to look like ground Italian sausage at this point. Now let's add in our tomato paste. Sautéing the tomato paste for a few minutes really helps develop the umami flavor and will give a depth to the dish. What would otherwise be a boring and flavorless sauce will turn into something special. You just need to be very careful with the heat here so you don't scorch the tomato paste. You can see that up in the top part, I guess the pan is probably a little hotter there, it's starting to turn a little bit dark brown. So I'm just going to finish my quick stir here, and then I'm going to start adding water. That sizzling sound tells you I'm deglazing the pan, which is going to really help bring the flavors into the sauce. I didn't measure the exact amount of water that I added. I think I probably added around 2 to 2.5 cups total. It's time to add the spices for the sauce. The first level of spices was just for the turkey. The second level is for the sauce. The seasoning in the turkey is not going to leach into the tomato paste, unfortunately, so you do need to add more. It's a little thicker than I like still, so I'm going to add a little more water. Oh, that sauce is starting to look beautiful now. It almost reminds me of, I think, what's called a ragu. Let me know in the comments if I'm correct about that. I'm pretty happy with the sauce right now, so my attention turns to cooking some pasta. And for those of you that are purists, yes, I am going to take some pasta water and mix it in with the ragu. Time for plating. We'll start off with our pasta. Then a few spoonfuls of our ragu. And finish up with some Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Make sure you add a good amount. It's delicious. If you've been enjoying this video, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any future fixes. Now let's give it a taste test. That's really nice. First you get the turkey, it has a very nice texture to it, it's not too rubbery. And then you get the tomato flavor, the umami is really good. All the other background notes of the sauce hit really well. And the Parmesan cheese is a little salty complement. The pasta is actually perfectly cooked. It's all a very nice, delicious, and satisfying meal, just as promised. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you keep this recipe in your bag of tricks for a fast weeknight meal. It's definitely a good one. Thanks for watching.